For 2 months, I wrote weekly checks to a woman who I thought was named Gladys Beacon, and she cashed each one with no problem. And then one day she said to me, "My name's not Gladys Beacon, it's Gladys Conaway." And then she spelled it Connaway. What? Where did I get Beacon from? I don't know, she says, but it's Conaway, Connaway. Well, how did you cash them? I just crossed out Beacon and wrote in Connaway. I thought you'd see it on your canceled checks. As if I ever balanced a checking account or looked at canceled checks in my life. That's not my area. The older I get, the more I realize that what I once believed was going on when I was younger may not have been true for the other person. It's just that hubris of youth allowing you to think the other guy was really the punchline and it could have been yourself. Writing checks out to a fictitious person and having them cashed week after week until one day Gladys, Connaway, just can't take it anymore. That seemed like a real farce to me then. And it was funny. But now I have a little different perspective on who was the clueless one. Gladys was the head of her family's fantastic cleaning service, which included her husband, daughters, son in law, and my next door neighbor had signed on, so I did as well. Gladys herself never actually cleaned my house, she sent her daughters. And this was the late 80s. I had a kindergartner and a newborn, and I was obsessed with the baby's timing of his naps. So when I'd see Gladys's car at my neighbor's, I'd call her on that house phone to see when her crew would be coming to mine. Looking back now, Gladys probably thought, "Lady, relax. I've got your neighbor's house to clean over here." Anyway, after Gladys took me to task over the whole check writing debacle, I made sure to write Connaway each time. But I was mystified. How did I come up with the name Beacon? I asked one of the daughters, "Why didn't you tell me?" She just, "I don't know. I don't look at the checks." Kind of like my attitude. "Your mother never mentioned it to you?" "Nope, she just never did." Then one day they're at the neighbor's. Ring, ring. "Gladys Beacon?" She answered as usual. "Speaking, speaking." I heard a speak. Oh gosh, the great Gladys Beacon mystery was solved, and I couldn't stop laughing. Then I tried to explain myself to her and thought she'd get a big kick out of it. But Gladys really didn't laugh. After I told her the story, she said, "No, my name is Connaway." For many years, that crazy story became kind of a family lore, and I admit that I used to think that the joke was on Gladys. I assumed that she didn't realize how strong her Southern accent was. And wasn't it so funny that she crossed out the wrong name and cashed the checks anyway for weeks and weeks? Ha ha ha. Everyone I told the story to laughed because it was kind of funny. Gladys Beacon, that younger Barb, the frazzled young mom, the semi-inept house cleaner, was convinced that Gladys herself was the subject of a pretty funny farce. And now I think the joke was likely on me. She probably thought I was an anxious young mother who couldn't keep up with her own house, worried constantly about babies' naps, as if they weren't going to take their naps when they were going to take their naps. And somehow I couldn't tell the difference between beacon and speaking. It was my ear, not her accent. So, yeah, aging's a farce. And when you realize you've been the punchline more often than you once believed, you better laugh at yourself. And if you do, I think you're doing okay. So, Thanks for listening to this silly little short story, and I hope you got a kick out of it. And if you did, please consider subscribing to my channel and doing all the things like liking and sharing. And if you have funny misunderstandings to share, do so in the comments. So goodbye. See you next time. Thank you.